Hi, Cancer. Welcome to your January 2019 Astro Update. It's Raina here. For some reason, Cancer, I have been trying to record your reading over and over and over again. As I do attempt this for the next time, this is being recorded on Christmas Eve. So this is only a couple days after the full moon in your sign. And boy, I always say that during a full moon, because I believe that the effects are still quite potent, that it's like being enveloped in a cozy blanket. That's what the energy feels like to me. I feel soothed. I know that some people during full moons get very emotional, and even, the word lunatic comes from Luna or the moon. So because you're ruled by the moon, maybe you are particularly sensitive to these full moons, but my goodness, in your sign, that's even more the case. So there's a lot of change, even at the end of 2018, when many of you will be listening to this, so I can talk about this period of time, and you will relate to it in a very fresh way, because it has just recently happened that the North Node went into Cancer in the first week of November. And there was actually a solar eclipse back in July in Cancer, signaling, heralding this eclipse cycle. And the transiting nodes are connected to the eclipses. And the eclipses kind of digest all of the change in a more gradual sense. And they provide change in a more gradual sense. And you can sense, let me see if I can say the word sense a number of times. You can sense things are changing, I'm sure, if you are a Cancer right now. And as the month begins, the sun is in the 7th house, in your opposite sign of Capricorn. And I could go on for quite a while about what has been happening in that house for you. As I stated in all of my other attempts to do this recording, I personally know of a Cancer who filed for divorce, and her partner never thought that she would go through with it, or was hoping that she wouldn't. I personally think, because I believe they are soulmates, I think that perhaps they've just hit a bit of an impasse, and that even if she goes through with the divorce, that she eventually softens and comes to her senses regarding her marriage, and that her soon-to-be ex-husband works on himself, because it is a two-way street. I believe that what happens with a lot of you guys is that it's kind of weird with Cancer, because you're a cardinal sign and you take charge. And I have another friend who's a Cancer, and I don't think I've spoken to her in a couple of years. No, for no reason, just haven't spoken to her. And she had divorced her husband and then remarried him. Cancer likes to take charge of situations and take action, okay? So because you're a water sign and you're ruled by your emotions, being, ruled by the moon, it's natural that you are very much in that state of going with your feelings. And I was going to say the problem, but we'll say the challenge is to understand that you're a cardinal sign, and that you will have strong urges to do something about a particular issue, including getting divorced, giving the other party, serving them papers, and things like that, to try to resolve the situation that you feel is kind of like maybe hanging in the balance. But the problem is that your emotions can change, as you probably well know. And then you're confused, because you're like, okay, now I see things differently. Now what do I do? And what you do is be still and know. See, now tuning into yourself is awesome, but the first part of that was be still. Not running around and just grabbing at, straws, trying to find something to do to kind of resolve a situation. Emotional situations are not neatly resolved usually, are they? They usually carry with them a lot of history that was not acknowledged at the time. And this is what I'm saying. Do not allow your grievances to build up inside of you, Cancer. I think that is a problem for Cancer, that they tend to be indirect. So you'd like to take action, but you don't necessarily like to assert yourself when you're angry and deal with things straight on. You prefer to hint, to get mad if somebody doesn't anticipate your needs, doesn't read your mind, and manipulate. Try to guilt people, shame people, pout, sulk like a little child to get what you want. And being straightforward is the best policy. I'm probably going to get so much crap for this, but I'm just saying it. Because you know what? That's just how I feel compelled to address people. I can't be superficial in these readings. I just can't. But I'm not picking on Cancer. Believe you me. I do this for everybody. Or to everybody, you could say. Okay, so the sun is in the 7th house. The sun is healing. So that can be good for relationships. So don't assume that, oh my God, I'm going to get divorced. No, you would know if you are in danger of losing your primary relationship. And by the way, the 7th house can be your clients. It can be your best girlfriend or boyfriend. Well, men don't usually talk about what do men call their best platonic male friends? Bros? Your best bros. Best pals. So the sun is there. That's positive energy pouring into your relationship sector. On the 4th, Mercury enters Capricorn in that 7th house. Remember, we have Pluto in that 7th house. Long term, since 2008. You have probably felt that kind of focus because it's the opposite sign. So it's creating that opposition. It's causing you to have to really put the emphasis on yourself. Maybe you've been working on yourself. This is particularly in regards to your relationship with others. How do you act as a codependent? Do you try to, like even with your adult children, if you have adult children, you may be babying them to try to keep them close to you. And in the meantime, you're losing yourself. I think it's very easy for a Cancer person to lose themselves. And so you have to look at the ways that you do this, not the ways that other people are doing it to you, but how you're doing it to you. And Mercury in Capricorn allows you to communicate with others directly so that you get your needs met. This could include clients that take advantage, that, want the moon and the stars, that call you in off hours. Because you're a natural empath, you have to, if you work with clients one-on-one, maybe psychotherapy or any healing arts in particular, or, that's the ones that I would say I could think of off the bat. You have to be careful that you don't bleed into them energetically and, again, lose yourself and allow yourself to be taken advantage of, put upon in outrageous ways because of somebody else's sense of entitlement. Communicate, though. Don't communicate as the victim or the martyr. That's manipulation. Communicate from a position of strength, of what your needs are, very unemotionally, very matter of fact, to the point. I need you to do your own laundry. You're an adult. I need you to respect my office hours. Yes, I'm home, but I've chosen to have these hours to spend with my family or to rejuvenate myself so that I can do the type of work that I do. On the 5th, solar eclipse in this house, 15 degrees of Capricorn. You know, this is really great for people who have their own business because you may get a spate of new clients, and that widens your net. It widens your network so that you have more people that you can have your business. You know, they might be repeat clients. This is good for your relationship. Maybe you go in a different direction that is healthier. On the 6th, Uranus goes direct in Aries. That's the 10th house of career. You have probably been having some real twists and turns with career, curveballs thrown at you, or you throwing a curveball at the universe career-wise, where you say, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be a lawyer anymore. I want to work on an organic farm and just these crazy things. Or even an influence of energy healing or anything psychic type of work in the 10th house. This is just something that's been part of what has been going on now for 7 years. On the 7th, and the reason let me just go back to that. Uranus will be here for only a couple more months, and then it goes into your 11th house where it rules, and that can be really great for the things that you want to manifest, your dreams, your wildest dreams, especially if you are being very, if you have like dreams that involve any kind of intuitive practices, or even you could say involve people or groups. If that's something, maybe you want to live in a community rather than by yourself, or in a house, you want to live with other people. There can be all kinds of new people who come into your life, unusual groups, unusual friends. But until then, you just have a couple more months of potential curveballs coming your way. I do feel that for some of you, there may be another sudden break because I'll get to that in a minute. I saw something else. Okay, well, I'll get to that. We'll talk about that in a second. So on the 7th, Venus goes into Sagittarius. That's your 6th house of work. This can be great for situations with coworkers if you had any kind of rifts, and if maybe even if you've been looking for a raise. Venus can bring money when she transits a certain house. It can be great for diet, where you are really looking at how your physical beauty is impacted by diet and wanting to do something, or maybe like diet and exercise even. And perhaps you're even investing in your health with items that are big ticket that can improve your health. This can also be great for love in the workplace. You know, meeting a potential partner in the place where you work, which sometimes is not encouraged, but it is what it is, right? This is in 2018, 2019. This is kind of like one of the only places that we tend to be around people on an extended level because of the way things have shifted, how we socialize. On the 20th, The sun goes into Aquarius, the 8th house. This is deep. This is Scorpio's house. So you really are comfortable with the elements of this house. There can be something with the father and a will. When there's 8th house issues, the sun represents the father. But in any case, I think this increases your psychic ability to have the sun in this house because it is highly intuitive. Not only in Aquarius, but also that 8th house, Scorpio's house. On the 21st, we have a lunar eclipse at 0 degrees of Leo. This is in your 2nd house of earned income, Cancer. This is what I was alluding to when I talked about Uranus going direct in Aries in that 10th house. There may be this kind of ending to an income stream, and it just is something like you just abruptly go in a different direction, for instance. That's one possibility. And the thing about it is that it would have to probably be really something that was bothering you for a long time. Maybe you have a new job, and that's why you're quitting the old one. For some, it may be retirement, and you actually have a very good feeling about it because now you have more freedom and you also have financial security. The 2nd house is the money that you earn, but I'm looking at it from the standpoint of Uranus in that 10th house, and even the sun going into your 8th house. Maybe there's some inheritance that is going to come about and you don't have to work anymore. This could be some revelation about your finances, though, at the very least, and your budget that is brought to your attention. On the 24th, Mercury goes into Aquarius, your 10th house of career, and this could specifically be talking with an employer, maybe going back for a second interview or a third interview because they're trying to decide. And I think that, you probably would get the job if it was something you really wanted, because during this time of the sun being in the North Node being in your sun sign, that's a time when I think that favorable things may happen. And it's kind of preordained, if you will. And you're meant to have maybe you're meant to have a total shift in career so that you can do what you came here to do. That will bring you way more joy. Okay, Cancer, that's what I have for you. I'm so grateful for having gotten through this. And I'm grateful for all of you who have been watching my videos over the years. And, the people who write the nice comments. Sometimes when I look at my analytics and I see how many people share my videos, it's heartening because I don't share videos. Typically, I don't even know. I don't even pay attention to that. And that is very helpful, I would imagine, because you're turning on somebody to a particular content creator. And that kind of helps things to circulate. So I appreciate all of those as well. And just leaving comments and, such nice, encouraging words. And even the people who, say things that are a little bit challenging, it's helpful to be always aware of contrast. You don't want an echo chamber in your life. You really don't. And, Cancers, I'm a Sagittarian, but I'm a sensitive person. So sensitive empaths or sensitive people tend to take things to heart quite a bit. And criticism can feel especially harsh. But if you are trying to do everything you can to prevent that from happening, then you become afraid of it. And I think it's easier to attract it to you. The best thing is to know who you are, to learn about yourself at the deepest level. And then all of these things just magically, they may irritate you in the moment, but they will not stick to you. Okay, Cancer. If you'd like a private reading, the link is below. Otherwise, have a great start of the year in January. Take care. Bye.